Hey guys, Carolyn here. I am back and wanted to show you what I made out of one of the Reader's Digest journals or digest books. So I recorded a lot of this, but ended up not recording everything. So I decided not to post what I did because it didn't cover everything, and I am not too pleased. Okay, this thing's not focusing right. Okay, now it's focused. So what I did was just gut the inside, took a craft knife, got all of this. I took like a piece of, it looks like curtain material, reinforced the spine with this, glued it with some Fabri-Tac, and I had some jelly printed papers that I used to cover this because this was one of the ones where the spine was like coming apart. Took some lace that I had gotten from the Dollar Tree and glued here, and then some vintage rickrack here. Once I was done with this, I realized that this was not going to be big enough for what I want to do with it. What I want to do with it is create an art journal, and these pages are going to be way too small for me because this is, let's see, my hand's about 6 inches. So this is like 7 inches tall by probably 4.5 inches wide. For me, that is too small for an art journal. So what I did, I decided that I would create a loose leaf one with some clipboards, and they have some nice clipboards at the Dollar Tree that are plain and pretty nice and sturdy. For $1, you can't beat them. And I looked up, Googled on YouTube, journal made from clipboards, and I did find a a video, and I think Julie Faye Fan Balzer was on that one. I think it's an older video. So of course I didn't come up with this. I'm not the only one that's came up with this. It has already been done. This is what I came up with. And this would be for a nice 8.5 by 11 size paper, which will be great for what I want to do. So, what I did, and of course I don't have any of them with me. An example, hold on. What did I do with it? Sorry. Okay, found them. So I bought a few of these, and you have to watch when you go to the Dollar Tree when you get these, because some of these might be damaged, like on the edges and stuff, so I had to return some of them. But this is what they are, just like a regular chipboard type, and a very strong chipboard type of material for $1. Can't beat that. And I took 2 of them and flipped them the opposite way, so they're like this. And I need to like move you guys back. I don't know. Hopefully you have all that. So there's a clip at the top, the clip at the bottom, and then you can close it like this. So what I did, if you Google clipboard, let's see, journal made from clipboards, you should be able to find that one from Julie Faye Fan Balzer, and they kind of go through how they did theirs. They cut one in half like this and made a smaller one just out of one clipboard. I wanted a bigger one, so I took the 2, and this focus is bad. Okay. So I took a piece of cardboard and cut like the width of my spine that I wanted. And this is kind of thick because I glued 2 pieces together just to make it strong. And so this is just cardboard, 2 pieces of cardboard glued together in just the width that I want. measured the length. It's not exact length, it's a little bit shorter than the length of the clipboard, and then duct taped it with quite a few pieces of duct tape that I got from the Dollar Tree. So, how I did the paint, I was going for a crackle look, but that didn't work out. So I looked up like making your own crackle paint, and what they did was they took Mod Podge and like put it all over. Well, first of all, I did like a grayish base, like painted 2 coats on the front and back with acrylic paints of like a gray color, which you can kind of see right there on this shiny part. Kind of got some of this on this. So covered the whole thing, both sides, 2 coats with some gray. And then took some Mod Podge really quickly, as quick as I could so that it didn't dry, and covered like part of it. Then you're supposed to paint over that wet Mod Podge with some acrylic paint, and once it dries it creates a crackle finish. Well, that didn't work for me, so it ended up looking old, but it didn't crackle at all. But I still like the look of it because it looks old, it looks weathered. So I'm pretty happy with it. This is the back, it's plain. And I just, let's see, like I said, it was a gray base undercoat. Put kind of a thick, I don't know, was it thick? Medium kind of layer of Mod Podge really quickly over the surface. Took a cream colored acrylic paint over the top, waited and waited and waited and waited for it to dry and see if it would crackle, and it didn't crackle. But still, it looks pretty good. Look, a stained, weathered effect. Then the brown parts, I just took burnt umber acrylic paint, wet it down, actually used my finger. So here's my burnt umber. I used Liquitex Basics acrylic paint. Put it in a thing, put some water here, just kind of like used my finger. Got it kind of liquidy and translucent like consistency, and just took my finger and went all over this to make all over the edges and all over the whole thing, just barely, just to get it kind of aged. Did the same thing for the inside. Once I was done with that and it was dry, then I taped my spine on with the duct tape. Then for this is actually a card. It was like a set of cards that I found at the thrift store for like 99 cents. And I really like this Van Gogh, one of my favorite paintings. And it was just a greeting card. So I took it and did the same thing. I took that burnt umber, kind of watered down burnt umber, took my finger and just went around this to give it an aged look, because it was pretty shiny, had a glossy kind of coating on it. And I tried to just took some sandpaper that I got from the Dollar Tree, just lightly sanded it to get some of that gloss off, and then I did the burnt umber like with my finger around here. Cut a little half circle here, glued like this side and the bottom side, and now I have like a pocket. It's pretty tight though, it doesn't open too well, but if I want to put a tag in here or something in here, I can. Underneath this I have some old coffee soaked, and yes, this is a dryer sheet. So I have 2 layers underneath this thing. I glued a dryer sheet and a piece of tulle right here. I don't know if you can see that very well. Let's see. There's a piece of tulle as the first layer, glued down with some like Elmer's craft glue, and then the other layer is this piece of used dryer sheet, which I kind of like stressed out and kind of stretched the edges to kind of make it look old. Soaked both of these things in some old coffee, and then also took some of that burnt umber, took my finger and just kind of added some more dark there. this part right here, I'm really proud of this part right here. It is like it's a stencil. I stenciled, and this stencil I also got from the Dollar Tree. It's roses, because it seemed like it needed something here. And I'm sorry that this is not focusing. There. So this is raised, and I also painted this with my finger with some white paint, some burnt umber, some of the gray. And what did I use for this? Something I got from the Dollar Tree. Let me see if I can find it. Where is it? Okay. So what I used to stencil this was a stencil from the Dollar Tree, and also found this at the Dollar Tree, which is lightweight spackling for $1. It says won't shrink or crack, no sanding, paintable in minutes. You can't beat this. So I took a paint knife, what do you call those, spatula like things, and used this to stencil over this, waited till it dries, and it is really, it's on there and it's not cracking. I mean, this is pretty cool. So if you wanted like something for texture, this is the way to go for $1. I mean, you cannot beat that. And I have a bunch of it. It's pretty neat, like a mousse-like consistency. It's pretty cool. And then I had a Dremel tool, but it didn't quite work to do these holes so that I could put a piece of ribbon through so I can tie it closed when I actually put my loose leaf paper in here. So I had my husband get his drill because my Dremel tool didn't have a drill like big enough for these rivets, because I kind of hammered these rivets in here, but my Dremel tool didn't have like a tool big enough, so my husband found a drill bit that was big enough for these to fit. So I just drilled, kind of just held these two together and marked where I wanted the holes so they're lined up pretty good. And I'm pretty happy with this one. Oh, and the inside, what I did, and this is a book. These are images from a book on Degas, Edgar Degas. So I just grabbed like a couple of images from that book to put inside here, just as a decoration. And I also took, and of course it's glossy paper, so I wanted it to look aged. So I took some sandpaper, sanding it down. That's why it's got all of these little kind of white streaks in there, but I kind of like it because it looks old. Underneath that, like, I've got 2 layers of old dictionary paper that I glued with some Elmer's craft glue. Just tore it by hand, like tore the edges by hand. And I did 2 layers because it was so thin, it was wrinkled, so I had to cover it up. I didn't like it. So I just use it as a backing for this here, for my picture. And then again, I took the watered down burnt umber acrylic paint, took my finger and went around with my finger, and just wherever I wanted the kind of age look, I did that. So, and that is about it. And I like this because I can put, you know, loose leaf pages, and I will work in this. So again, and then this. So I have, like, you know, any kind of paper that I want. I could also, let's see, in the video that I saw, they punched holes here and then used, what do they call them? Some sort of brads in these holes, and then punched holes in the paper, and they used the brads. Oh, I don't think that's what they're called. There's something like brads. And they held the paper in the middle with the brads. You know, the paper had holes punched in it, and they just put them with those brads that stick out, and they flipped a hole. I don't know. I think that's what they're called. So I'm pretty happy with this. So this is like gonna hold regular 8.5 by 11. I can cut some, any kind of paper that I want and use this for art journaling or just, sketching, whatever I want to do. So, if you like this, please share, like it, give it a thumbs up, share, subscribe, and I will be doing some more videos. Might do a haul. I think I've got some paper hauls. Probably give you a tour of how I've organized all of my paints and my art supplies. So anyways, that's it. Thank you for watching and Merry Christmas to you guys. Bye bye.